It's summer 2026 and everyone and their grandma is downloading AI code review tools. Once again, I've started to fall behind the AI hype train. So one day I woke up and did nothing. My work just decided to sponsor one of these coding tools. So this video is just a rant about the AI code review tools. We got these to solve one problem. We did not have enough engineers to review our slop, so our PRs were getting stuck left and right. We would have at least 3 PRs open at a time and nobody has any time to review, and we decided to solve it with AI code review tools, and as you probably know, it didn't go too well. Don't get me wrong, these tools are insane. They know your whole code base, they know a lot of context about your code base, but they didn't end up helping us moving faster or having less PRs. What they did help with is quality. They did catch bugs, they did catch some edge cases. For example, we used to have our own library, and in the optional dependencies, we used to use a third-party dependency, but later on we decided to add the same third-party dependency to our actual app, and I forgot to move it from the optional dependencies just for tests to the full library dependencies, and this caught it. I know this is not a big deal. Any engineer that would have actually reviewed it would have caught it. But the problem is most of the engineers stopped reviewing code. And I'm not saying that they're not reviewing code because these tools are magically reviewing the code. They're not reviewing the code because there's just too much code for anyone to review in the time frame the code is being produced. As much as I'd like to praise them for knowing my code base and knowing a lot of stuff and catching good edge cases and good bugs, they still produce a lot of comments that are not actually useful. And the comments themselves are unreadable. These are long paragraphs and it takes a while to even understand them. So, to summarize my experience, they are a decent tool in your arsenal, just like any other AI tools. And if your team has budget for it, I would definitely recommend you go for them, even though they're annoying as hell. But I don't want to stop with just my opinion. I wanted to see what the big dogs are doing, so I want to go through a couple of blog posts and see what they think. Before I do that, I do want to go through this really concise blog about the state of AI code review tools in 2026. The first thing they say is it gets the minor refactors and style consistency right, which I completely agree with. It also gets the common bug patterns like null handling and traditional, let's say you're using a third-party library and you don't know if they use a dictionary or what variable it uses, and this does get those sort of things right. As it is trained on common bug patterns, it's no surprise that they're performing well in that area. And same with obvious vulnerability and security issues that have been flagged over and over, like SQL injection patterns, hard-coded secrets, and stuff like that. And then the second section is where it actually fails, and that is architectural intent. They're still getting better, but I would still say they do get a lot of things wrong. And then there's also the team specific context that they're missing, especially because most people's team recordings aren't still being recorded properly as agent notes or anything like that, which I believe Granola is working toward. And finally, the last section, AI code review tools worth knowing in 2026. That's GitHub Copilot, CodeRabbit, Graptile, Codex, Claude Code, and I think they missed Bugbot. And this blog is by Cloudflare on how they built AI code review agents and how they built a system that does code reviews for $1 but still delivers huge value. They say that code review is one of the most reliable ways to bottleneck an engineering team, and most engineers just handfully nitpick variable naming. The median wait time for a first review is often measured in hours, and they say that they didn't use out-of-the-box solutions because they didn't offer enough flexibility and customization for a big organization like Cloudflare. And the initial attempt is basically sending a diff with a generic prompt, and they ended up getting really noisy results, hallucinated syntax errors. And then the second pass was, instead of using one massive model with a generic prompt, they used 7 different specialized reviewers covering security, performance, code quality, documentation, release management, and compliance. And these specialists were managed by a coordinator agent that deduplicated their findings, judges the actual severity of the issues, and posts a single structured review comment. And they say that this actually worked out great for them, and it flags genuine serious problems. Otherwise, it approves clean clean code straight away. And they talk about why they picked OpenCode, because it's open source and it's already being used extensively. Interestingly, they use the most top tier models for the coordinator. The standard tier models like the Claude Sonnet for code quality, security, and performance, and something like Kimi K2.5, which is lightweight, and text-heavy tasks like documentation, reviewer, release reviewer, and agents.md reviewer. It has completed 131,000 review runs, 48,000 merge requests, and the median review complete time is 3 minutes 39 seconds. And the most significant number I saw is the average cost is just $1, and the medium is just 98 cents, which is crazy. And that is a great number and speaks volumes about the future of AI code review, especially as models get cheaper. But that's just the average review cost. As you can see, the P99 is still $5, which is, again, extremely cheap. They talk about the limitations. We touched upon this before. They're quite weak at architectural awareness. Also because they're inherently not that great at it, but they also don't have the full context necessary as well, which also impacts. And that's it. I don't want to drag this video for too long. I will link the blog links in the description below, along with a few other blogs I did not have time to cover in this video. And feel free to comment down below what your thoughts are on your favorite AI code review tools and where you think the technology is going. And I'll see you in the next video.